Once upon a time, there lived a couple, Chima and Ifunanya. They had been married for 12 years and had 2 daughters, Nkechi and Amara. Nkechi was 11 years old, while Amara was just 6. Chima's attitude towards his wife started changing because she gave birth to only girls. As an African man, he wished to have a male child who would replace him when he leaves the earth. When Ifunanya got pregnant again, Chima was very happy, but everything changed when she came back with the news that she was carrying another girl. Chima complained bitterly to his wife about how she always ended up giving him female children. Ifunanya tried to tell him that she did not have the ability to determine the gender of children, but Chima silenced her and warned her not to talk when he was talking. Chima's attitude towards his wife grew from bad to worse. Anything and everything she did was wrong in his sight, and he beat her at the slightest offense. Months later, Ifunanya heard rumors that her husband had impregnated another woman and always went to visit her place. Ifunanya felt so bad, but she waited for her husband to come back so she could ask him. When Chima came back home that evening, Ifunanya calmly asked, "Chima, darling, there's something bothering me. I've heard some rumors circulating about you expecting a child from another woman. Is that true? Are the rumors true?" But Chima refused to answer his wife. She kept pressuring him and kept asking him the question. Chima got angry and asked her, "Woman, I can see that you are very curious to know if I'm expecting a child from another woman. Now wait for me here, you will get answers to your question." He turned around and left the house. An hour later, Chima drove into his compound again with a lady. When they came down from the car, Chima carried the lady's bag and kept pampering her. Ifunanya was heartbroken at the sight of her husband taking care of another lady in her presence. Tears trickled down her cheeks. The lady began to make mocking faces at Ifunanya. Ifunanya was in so much rage that she slapped the lady. Chima, out of anger, began to beat Ifunanya. He gave her the beating of her life, not minding the fact that she was heavily pregnant. Their daughters, Nkechi and Amara, kept trying to stop him. "Daddy, please stop. Stop hitting Mom. She's all we have, please stop." After he had beaten Ifunanya to his satisfaction, he left her on the floor and walked into the house with his new wife. Ifunanya lay on the floor crying. Nkechi saw blood on the floor where her mother was lying down. She rushed to her father's room and kept knocking, calling on him to come help their mother. But a voice from inside warned her never to knock on the door again. "Leave that door, Nkechi. Don't knock on that door again." Nkechi ran back to her mother and helped her stand up. Ifunanya, in the company of her 2 girls, walked slowly down the road to the hospital. When they got to the hospital, Ifunanya was taken in, and the girls were left in the waiting lounge. After a while, the doctor came out and saw the 2 little girls crying. He couldn't bring himself to tell the girls that they had just lost their mother and unborn baby. He asked the girls what had happened to their mother, and they said that it was their father who had beaten up their mother. The doctor made up his mind that he was going to file a case against the little girl's father. The girls asked him about their mother, and he told them that they would come back for her after seeing their father. When they arrived at Chima's house, the doctor got scared and decided against filing a case because Chima was a wealthy man. He walked in with the girls and met Chima in the sitting room with his new wife. The doctor told Chima that his wife was dead and that he should come and make the arrangements to take her to the mortuary. Then the doctor left. Nkechi, who was old enough to understand what death meant, covered her mouth and cried deeply. Naive Amara was trying so hard to console her big sister. Chima was touched. He never planned to kill his wife, he felt sorry for his daughters. He tried to go and console them. His new wife, Chioma, tried stopping him by faking pains around her stomach and falling on the sofa. Chima came to help her up. She told Chima to take her into the room because the pain was too much. Chima took her inside, forgetting his girls. Nkechi and Amara slept off in their own tears. In the morning, Chioma came out and met Nkechi and Amara lying down on the floor. She poured a bucket of cold water on the girls. She asked Nkechi to get a mop and wipe it off. When Chima was about to come out of the room, Chioma quickly asked the girls to go and hide so that their father wouldn't see them, or else she would beat them. When he came out, he asked about his girls, and Chioma told him that they were sleeping. Chima called his friend to confirm if Ifinanya's corpse was taken to the mortuary the night before, and after confirming that, he left home. After Chima left, Chioma called the girls and asked them their names. She told them that she was now in charge. She divided the house chores between the two girls. Nkechi tried to tell Chioma that Amara was still too little for the work she had given her, but she slapped her and warned her never to talk when she was talking. The next day, Chioma made sure that the girls kept working without food. It was noon already, and yet she hadn't given them anything to eat. Amara was so hungry, and Nkechi decided to get some food from the pot for her and her sister. They were still eating when Chioma walked in. She poured the food on Nkechi and shouted at her for not taking permission from her before eating. Amara and Nkechi started crying while their father's mistress left them hungry all through the day. Towards evening, when Chima came back, Chioma prepared food for herself and Chima alone, leaving Nkechi and Amara to starve. Little Amara was so hungry that she couldn't endure the hunger anymore. She rushed to the dining table where her father was eating and said to her father, "Daddy, my sister and I have had nothing to eat this morning. Please, can we have some food?" Chima, on hearing this from his daughter, was surprised because he never thought Chioma would leave his children hungry. He was not aware that his children were being mistreated in his absence. He gave his food to his girls and left the dining table in anger. Chioma, noticing that Chima was angry, followed him, begging for forgiveness. The next morning, Chima left very early without checking on his daughters. As soon as he left, Chioma flogged both Nkechi and Amara mercilessly for making Chima shout at her the previous night. After that, she assigned chores to them and made them work without food. That same morning, at around 10 a.m., a strange man named Chek came knocking on their door. Chioma came to the door and brought the man into the house. She sent Nkechi on an errand to stop her from eavesdropping on their discussion. As Nkechi was about to deliver the message to Chioma, she overheard the man who came to visit them mention the name of her father. She decided to pay attention to their conversation to hear what they were discussing. Nkechi heard the strange man and Chioma planning on how to kill their father and take over his properties. "What are you waiting for, Chioma? We are taking too long. Poison him, and let's take over the properties immediately. There's no time anymore." "No, we can't do that now. If we kill him now, how then do we claim his properties? Wait until I give birth and convince him to will all his properties to our son. After that, killing him will be a piece of cake." Then Chek told Chioma he knew how to kill Nkechi and Amara and no one would find out. He whispered into the ears of Chioma. When Nkechi heard this, her heart started beating fast, and she ran into the kitchen. That day, towards evening, after Chek had left, Chioma came calling out to the girls, but no one answered. She thought they were sleeping and went into their room, but they were not there. She searched everywhere around the house, but they were nowhere to be found. Chioma asked the gateman about the kids, but the gateman said he hadn't seen them either. A few minutes later, a car honked outside, and it was Chima. Chioma's heart began to beat faster. Chima came into the house and asked Chioma, "Why do you look so restless, and where are the kids?" "I'm fine, it's just the pregnancy. The girls are in their room sleeping." She took Chima into their room immediately so he wouldn't go around asking for his daughters. Chioma was confused about what lie she was going to tell Chima if he found out his daughters were missing. Chioma went into her room and called Chek to let him know what was going on. Chek advised her to act normal and told her he would take care of everything. Little did Chioma know that Nkechi and Amara were still inside the house. Nkechi had hidden herself and her sister inside an old water drum kept at the backyard. When the girls were sure their stepmother had stopped searching for them, they sneaked out of the drum and went back into the house. Nkechi rushed to the study to write a letter to her dad. After writing the letter, she sneaked out again and went to the store at the backyard. Nkechi used a candle to melt the wax from an old candle and used it to seal the letter she had written. The next morning, Chima was about to leave for work when Nkechi rushed to him and handed him the letter. He was surprised because it was not normal for Nkechi to write letters to him, but he took it. When he read the letter, his heart began to beat fast, and his eyes turned red with anger. Chima rushed back into the house and dragged Chioma out. He started beating her and asking her what she had been planning behind his back. Nkechi had written in the letter everything she had Chioma and Chek discussing. Chima was filled with so much anger. He dragged Chioma to the sitting room and gave her the beating of her life. Neighbors gathered around to see what was happening. Chima called the police and asked them to arrest Chioma. When the police came, Chima handed her over to them, along with the letter Nkechi had written. Chioma and Chek were arrested and taken away. Chima thanked Nkechi for her bravery and promised to take care of his daughters from that day onwards. He regretted all the suffering and pain he had put his wife and daughters through. From that day on, Chima became a changed man. He vowed never to remarry and devoted all his time to taking care of Nkechi and Amara. The girls finally found peace and happiness again, and their bond with their father grew stronger. With Chioma and Chek behind bars, Chima began to reflect on his actions and the consequences they had wrought. He was haunted by the memories of his late wife, Ifinanya, and the pain he had caused her and their daughters. Determined to atone for his past mistakes, Chima dedicated himself to becoming the father his daughters deserved. He sought help from a therapist to manage his anger and learn better ways to express his emotions. Nkechi and Amara slowly began to adjust to their new life. Although they missed their mother terribly, they found solace in their father's transformation. Chima enrolled in parenting classes and joined support groups for single fathers. He also became actively involved in his daughters' lives, attending their school events and spending quality time with them. One evening, while sitting together after dinner, Chima shared with his daughters his plans for the future. Nkechi, Amara, I know I can't change the past, but I promise to do everything I can to make our future better. I want you to know how much I love you and how sorry I am for everything. Tears welled up in Nkechi's eyes as she hugged her father tightly. Amara, too young to fully grasp the depth of the situation, joined in the embrace. As time went on, Chima's efforts began to bear fruit. Nkechi and Amara thrived in school, and their home became a place of love and support. The community, initially skeptical of Chima's transformation, gradually came to see the sincerity in his actions. Chima's involvement in local charities and his efforts to raise awareness about domestic violence garnered respect and admiration from his neighbors. One day, Chima received a call from the police station. Chioma wanted to see him. Reluctantly, Chima agreed, knowing that closure was necessary for both him and his daughters. At the station, Chioma, looking remorseful, apologized for her actions. Chima, I was wrong. I let greed and jealousy consume me. I'm sorry for everything I did to you and the girls. Chima, though still hurt by her betrayal, accepted her apology. I forgive you, Chioma. I hope you find a way to change your life, just as I'm trying to change mine. With the past behind them, Chima focused on building a brighter future. He established a foundation in Ifinanya's name, dedicated to helping victims of domestic violence and providing support to single parents. Through this foundation, Chima found a sense of purpose and a way to honor his late wife. Years passed, and Nkechi and Amara grew into strong, confident young women. They often spoke to their father about their dreams and aspirations, knowing he would support them every step of the way. Nkechi, inspired by her mother's resilience and her father's transformation, decided to become a lawyer specializing in family law. Amara, with her caring nature, pursued a career in nursing. On the anniversary of Ifunanya's passing, Chima and his daughters held a small ceremony to remember her. They planted a tree in their backyard, symbolizing growth, resilience, and the enduring strength of their family. As they stood together, Chima spoke softly, "Ifunanya, we miss you every day, but your spirit lives on in our hearts. We'll continue to honor you by living with kindness and love." The tree flourished, just as Chima, Nkechi, and Amara did. Their home, once a place of sorrow, now echoed with laughter and joy. Chima's redemption story became an inspiration to many, proving that change is possible and that love can heal even the deepest wounds. As the years went by, Chima remained devoted to his daughters and his mission. His foundation grew, helping countless families find hope and healing. Nkechi and Amara, now successful in their careers, often returned home to visit their father, always grateful for the love and strength he had shown them. In the end, Chima's journey of redemption brought him peace. He had transformed his life and, in doing so, had created a legacy of love and compassion. The memory of Ifunanya remained a guiding light, and her spirit continued to inspire him and his daughters. Together, they faced the future with hope, knowing that they had overcome the darkness and found the light within themselves. The community, witnessing Chima's remarkable transformation and the resilience of his family, began to change its attitudes towards domestic violence and gender roles. Men and women alike were inspired by Chima's example to confront harmful stereotypes and embrace equality and respect in their relationships. Chima's foundation became a beacon of hope for survivors of domestic violence, providing shelter, counseling, and legal support to those in need. Through educational programs and outreach initiatives, the foundation raised awareness about the prevalence of domestic abuse and empowered individuals to seek help and support. As Chima's daughters, Nkechi and Amara, continued to thrive, they became advocates for women's rights and empowerment in their own right. Nkechi, as a lawyer, dedicated herself to representing victims of abuse and fighting for justice. Amara, as a nurse, provided compassionate care to survivors and worked to educate others about the signs of domestic violence. Together, Chima, Nkechi, and Amara forged a path of healing and transformation, not only for themselves but for their community as well. Their story served as a powerful reminder of the resilience of the human spirit and the possibility of redemption and renewal. In the end, Chima's journey taught us that it is never too late to change, to seek forgiveness, and to rebuild what was broken. Through love, courage, and perseverance, he reclaimed his life and created a future filled with hope and possibility. And in doing so, he inspired others to do the same. If you want to see the next part, just comment, subscribe to my channel, and share with others. Goodbye.